has like this thing for like Zooms I should use, but I never do. Hey, live.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Couple doubts. Just a doubt or two. All right, Ray. All right, biggest win over the Marlins ever. All right, here we go. Yo, it is another edition of the High Hopes Podcast, sponsored by Miller Lite, official partner, sponsor of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller Time, Philadelphia. Celebrate responsibly, as that could have been a very sad yo. It felt like it was going
very
to be
sad,
very sad,
very
yo.
sad.
And look, still like, especially if look. Sometimes we get in our emotions. Friday morning, I was down, buddy. This whole series, what a roller coaster! Like, we get the just all-time disastrous night. It felt like in the moment, both the loss itself and the losses that we'll talk about, and obviously good news since then on those fronts compared to what it felt like.
Oh yeah,
that one. Then we
because you and you got screwed because you are obviously the curse and the blessing of the morning show is you are the first show to react to everything. Because if people, it seems like, and I listen, I'm not going to take this as an ego shot, but it seems like people weren't listening at 10:30 on Thursday night, as I was also incredibly
got away with that one.
Incredibly down.
Yeah. And I was still like, the season's not over. Like, they could easily win the World Series. I'm just like, this has felt like a freaking magical run. And last night felt like a night where it's like, oh, maybe the run is like not going to be as magical. It just felt like the first night where it was like, oh, like, we don't curse on this pod zone, but it was like, oh, bleep. Like, this is what we've been terrified of, especially Bryce hobbling around like a. I know. But we'll get to it. Good news. But you have that game. Then you have the next night with just Sanchez, the stopper, just coming out and just being brilliant. Exactly what you need. Then you get the good Nola start that falls apart with Strom again. And then today where they come, like, it really was a true roller coaster series. One of the more roller coaster back and forth splits I honestly ever remember.
I needed today so bad. Like, if they lost 3 or 4, I know what tomorrow was going to be. I know what the rest of the week's going to be. And to be fair, like, I really wasn't in that headspace. Like, I like to avoid the meltdowns for no reason. I was at the point where I was already talking to myself, like, what are they supposed to do with those guys out of the lineup? Like, it's pretty drastic without them there.
By the way, can I just also say the when you have to wake up at 3 a.m. after going to bed right after the Harper thing and going to bed like just so sad and depressed, that carries over. Sometimes you feel it. Anyway, go ahead.
It was the most like pure, and I thought that we had gotten past this, James. I had thought we had gotten past the Marlins thing. I know. But it was the most Marlins freaking Phillies series since like the heyday. Of awfulness.
19-11 and all that. Yeah.
It was gross. Like, it was gross.
Like,
I mean,
is there anyone else that specific Thursday game could have happened against? Like, with every part of it, the ending on the Harper injury the way it did, the Schwarber getting hurt and just leaving the game, the obviously the Wheeler start and the call and then losing the lead. And then, just like, it was just so like, no, if you just told me the beats of the game without saying any opposing player's name, I'd be like, oh, Marlins, huh? Like, it was you're so right, dude.
It felt, and not to make this sound incredibly dramatic, it felt like Game 5 of 2011. Which is just an awful place to be in as Harper is. Well, and then after the game, he's like, I've never felt anything like this before, because of course
I know. And then he ends that quote, by the way, going, "It hurts." Like that, you have to end it with it hurts, man. Like, I can't even. I can't put myself in that headspace. Like, thank God it's not as bad as we thought. But like, I definitely thought he was out like 6 weeks minimum.
Me too. I was like, lock 6 to 8 weeks or fine, whatever. Just be ready for. Well, I was. So again, you and I, very steady, just calm, cool.
Emotion never guides us. We are like Rob Thompson. They say he's like that's why everyone loves him because he's the same guy every day, win or lose, even keeled. That's us.
That's us. And Nick Sirianni at the end of the year, which is probably the funniest quote of all time, like most ironic quote of all time. Nick Sirianni saying that he looks at like the flight attendants, and if they're panicking, he's panicking. Meanwhile, he's like the most emotional guy of all time. Like,
which is funny, but it's also good advice. Like, I've thought that before when I'm on a flight and like it'll be like super bumpy. I'll look at the flight attendants and they're just chilling. I'm like, all right, this isn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Right. I do too. But like, again, Nick Sirianni. I'm with you.
Nick's definitely the one like freaking out as that's happening. Like, oh my God, we're all going to die.
Oh, well, that's also you, by the way, buddy. I mean, if there's...
It's my natural inclination.
You're the first one off the plane. Screw the women and kids.
As we've said before, me and Nick Sirianni might have some personality traits that are similar.
Similar beards, too, man. Similar beards. You both have also aged in your new roles a lot. I think that certainly has been there.
Dude, I got white on my beard on like the very bottom, which I've never had. I've had it on the sides, but like white hairs on like the chin. Yeah.
You had a good run.
Thanks,
but
I'm finally fulfilling the prophecy of this podcast.
Actually
being old when you call me old. Anyway, go ahead.
It is. But like, and I admittedly, I'm trying to filibuster here because I forgot what I was saying. But like, the Marlins been this, and this whole thing was kind of like teetering. But I don't know. It's like the Harper and yeah. So I was already going
like you just word saying stuff. That was good.
I figured it out. I was already worried about like 500 home runs, the MVP, because while it will not, like if they don't win the World Series, this season is not a success. Like I think we've reached that point. Bryce getting his third MVP and second as a Philly would mean a lot to me. So like I became super invested in it. Now it doesn't help that Shohei Ohtani is single-handedly the greatest baseball player I've ever seen.
I mean,
play.
if you're a listener who's into like, and I know it's hot and cold with people, but like StatCast batting data, like just Google Shohei Ohtani StatCast and like look at his baseball savant page. He's hitting the ball harder, better, on the barrel, more than every single player in the sport. It's unbelievable what this guy's doing this year. But like, it's also, in addition to MVP, it's the fact that like he was as grooved in as like, again, he was the best player of the month in May. And like clearly the player in June. I mean, his OPS was what, like 30, 40 points higher than Shohei or something like that.
Really? It felt like Shohei
heading into getting hurt. Yeah, I know Shohei had more home runs, but Harper's OPS, Harper's batting like 390 or 380 something in June.
Well, and I, of course, the night he got hurt, he got his 12th hit in a row, and I was like, it would not surprise me if Bryce like flirted with a 30+ game hitting streak or something like that. Like really went on one of those like insane runs.
Locked in. He was so locked in.
Yeah. So thank God, dude.
And the All-Star game. How about just seeing him in a Phillies uniform in an All-Star game? Like all of it hit me so hard, and I was like, this sucks, man.
It really did,
I'm
dude.
Putting myself back there. I was so bummed that next morning.
It really did. And the All-Star game is definitely a big thing as well. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but
it's not. It's all the compounding of all these things that we care about, even if all that matters is winning the World Series. All these compounding things that add to it, which part of it is, will Harper come back and be grooved in time if he's out for 6 to 8 weeks? All this stuff. So anyway, go ahead.
I will say it's a great bit, him never playing in the All-Star game as a Philly. Anything it takes. It's a pretty all-time bit.
Especially because like for the stuff that we care about, like Inner Circle Hall of Fame, career legacy and all that, he still gets the All-Star, appearance thing like on his resume. It's like, who really cares,
I know. It's just sickening that I've seen Craig Kimbrell close out an All-Star game in a Phillies hat.
It's sickening that Bryce Harper, it's 2019 he got here. It's been 5 years, and granted, I guess they didn't have an All-Star game in 2020, but whatever. This is his 5th year with an opportunity, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. 2019, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is his 5th year with an opportunity to play in an All-Star game, and he won't have, it's so crazy. Now he's got a chance now. I'm saying in the moment we were saying.
I know. All right. How does the town react if he doesn't play in a game until the All-Star break, but plays in the All-Star game?
So it's actually really funny too, because the Embiid Olympics thing is happening almost simultaneously coming up too, and we all know how many people are going to call WIP and be like, "You shouldn't be playing in the Olympics. This guy gets hurt."
It's ridiculous.
I think it's great for Embiid to play in the Olympics. I think there's so much proven data of these guys. Improving their game, improving relationships, all that type of stuff, improving understanding what matters, just from these type of things. Anyway, sidetrack. But I personally, if the doctors say Bryce Harper is okay to play in the All-Star game, and we know that Bryce is not going to, run to second base like Chase Utley in the All-Star game if he hits one in the gap, he'll stroll, or whatever. I assume he wouldn't go all out in an exhibition competition. I know it's hard for him to not go all out in some situations. If he's trying to catch a ball, he'll dive into the stands no matter what, I feel like. But if the doctors say he's okay to play in it, I personally have no problem with it. But I definitely think, we will have people who are like, why would you risk it? It's so stupid. Why would you do this? Just take the extra time. It's free rest. Why wouldn't you take it with that soft tissue injury? Just wait, man. So I'm talking myself into him not doing it. But you know what I mean?
That moron in the afternoons, he's gonna say he shouldn't play in the All-Star game. But I'm so dude. So I kid you not. And we'll get to the game. We'll get to the series. It was actually a pretty crappy series.
Again, like I said, an unbelievable, entertaining, up and down series. If you weren't dying with the down,
dude, if they were not 25 or so games over 500, it would have been the worst series I've ever experienced in my life.
If this were a June from a couple years ago, where they finally turn it around a bit, and they're getting around 500 or something like that, and then this happened, we would be like, nope.
No, I'm not doing the pod. I will quit the pod.
We wouldn't be. Yeah, exactly.
But so Gelb tweeted out, I don't know, maybe 2:15 on Friday. You would have thought that the Phillies won the World Series with my reaction. I was
totally.
I was so happy. Happy.
It's my favorite tweet of the year.
I'm sure Matt Gelb appreciates
Matt, and congratulations. And there were other people who had it, I'm sure, and it came out here, but Matt.
No, but Matt was first.
He was first. Okay, good. Matt was, because that's what I saw first.
Was it nappy time for you? Were you in nap time?
I texted it to you.
Yeah, but you were 5 minutes late. Per usual. You're always
Elliot
late.
Was asking us, when's it going to come out? And I think you said probably around 3, and then I sent the Gelb thing. So, there you go. I actually was sent it by our pal Mike K. Sent me the Gelb tweet, and I sent it to you guys. So Mike K actually probably deserves the credit for letting me know. I would not have seen it, as you know. But
once again, too many Panthers tweets from Mike K.
Yes. The ultimate credit goes to Gelb, because that was that tweet made me as happy as any tweet in this year. Thank you, Matt. It really was. Again, I thought it was 6 to 8 weeks, and they're Harper gonna be back before the All-Star break. I'm what? And the Schwarber thing, I wasn't as worried about the Schwarber thing. It was just the compounding thing. But to just find out in one tweet, in one story, hey, they're both gonna be okay. This is okay. Don't freak out. Even right now, I felt I just exhaled, in a way, I felt my body relaxed there just saying it, because it was horrible, man. I hated it. Everyone heard me on the radio. I apologize. I was tired. I was upset, but I was freaking bummed, man. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I will say you're, and this has been, we've had to have our discussions about this. your ornery levels have gone up a little bit.
I know.
And you add a Bryce Harper out for 6 to 8 weeks on top of it. I mean, it's like why even text Seltzer, because you're gonna get your head bitten off if you say the wrong thing. So like, yeah, it's been a disaster. Like Seltzer, I'm just letting everyone know. Like, you look at Seltzer in the eyes, mostly fine. Inside, he's dead and angry, which is not which is really.
I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm good.
Dude, I'll send you a bunch.
I got a great daughter. She's hilarious. But yes,
dude, if you would let me again, if you would just let me control your life, I would be able to help you with a lot of this. But
seems like a really enticing proposition. By the way, speaking of my daughter, speaking of your son, which we're gonna get to his first game action, both of them will be in Wilmington. Come hang out with us. Like, last chance, July 3rd. Like, it is Wednesday coming up. There won't be another pod before then because the Cubs series goes through Thursday and obviously the holiday and all that. But this is the last pod we're doing before Wilmington, so this is our last chance to make a plea on the pod to coming out. We've been like overwhelmed with the amount of people who are coming. You all rule. Thank you. Can't wait to hang out.
Well,
you have something to say? Yeah. Do we have like a meetup time or something? We can say hi to people or something.
Yeah, I was thinking
I guess
that
we're all in the same section, which is good, or sections.
3 sections. We have sold 200 and
no way. Wow.
Like 12 tickets, I believe. Like
the last time you told me it was like 130 or something. Wow.
Yeah. So everyone's
awesome. You all I love you so much.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good night. And
both kids will be there, the families. It's going to be a fun, high hopes night there.
I have communicated with people close to the situation. And Aiden will be in the lineup. And because, so he'll be in the lineup.
Yes, it would have been, that could have put a damper on the whole, whole thing. You know?
So a couple thoughts on this, and then back.
Yes. But I figured I probably should have done this at the very beginning of the pod, but it was the game.
All good.
Yes.
All good. So there are still tickets available, but like, again, it's a select tickets available. Maybe they'll open another section. I'm not sure. But we sold like 200 some tickets. Ike and Spike are both coming. So if you want to see Ike and you want to see Spike, they will also be there, which is also great. And
it'll be nice to meet those guys.
And it'll be nice to meet them for the first time. And I feel like Spike's going because he wants to like rub it in that Ricky gets like thousands of people at events, and he can still I'm still the best, But besides that, I want to get out in front of this because I can feel the onslaught coming. Yes, Aiden Miller been a little cold to start his Jersey Shore career. A little bit cold. He got a hit today. That's good. He was heating up. He did not get 3 hits. He did not get a hit in his first 3 games. So he's been like around 200. I'm just letting everyone know that Gunnar Henderson, who we all agree is unbelievable,
is on pace as of now to be the greatest baseball player in the history of the sport. Yes, go ahead.
First 11 games as a 20-year-old at single A, a high A. He got 1 hit.
You don't have to defend this. I didn't even know what happened. This is nuts. What are we talking about?
Just letting everyone know. Gunnar Henderson, 1 hit in his first 11 games.
Drafted 27th last year to being like somewhere between 20 and 30 on like literally every midseason prospect ranking that has been put out. Like, we're good, Aiden. You're the man, dude. I can't wait to watch you play. I don't care if you go 0 for 6. With 6 strikeouts. I'm going to be so excited about your future. So that's where I'm at on that. And
good
for Justin and all, Crawford.
I don't think Clausen's going to pitch, but if Clausen pitches.
It's okay. We can't ask for too much. We can't. This is high hopes after all. Like, if Clausen were pitching, I'd almost be like, oh, I don't feel good about this. Things are lining up.
Things are going too well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's just okay. Aiden will be in the lineup. We're going to see our guy play. We're going to see Justin Crawford play. We're going to see the rest of our guys play. So who knows? Some of these people, you never know. Someone who's going to turn to a star. I mean, let's talk about our guy, Chris Sanchez. Bro. Like, someone who, even a year ago, much less a couple years ago, we would never, obviously we talked about the contract last time, but would never think, even just watching this guy. I mean, that was, I think, probably the best start of his career. I mean, just it's not just how successful he's been. You know, what is he? He's second in NL and ERA or wherever he's at, third, whatever it is. But he is like it's a eye test. We're eye test men. We always have been. Like he passes it, dude. Like whether it's the Marlins or not, like his stuff is just straight nasty. Like they needed that too. They needed that after the night before. They only scored 2 freaking runs. Stott both just manufacturing them. Like that was huge, dude. He was awesome.
This lineup, by the way, before we get to Chris Sanchez, is going to be rough until like it really has some like 2018 vibes. I mean,
they only got. Can we be honest? They only got runs today because the Marlins shortstop missed that easy double play, and then the other one, like it was a hit, but it like he should have gotten that.
Dude, Tim Anderson.
Him, like, what a disaster. Was it Tim Anderson?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, that was
it was a good game plan. You know, just keep ripping baseballs at Tim Anderson and see what he
can't go wrong.
See what he can do. Yeah. That Gassy with 4 hits. But and Trey obviously the big hit, which is huge.
Gassy, and maybe not defensively to Cassie as much. But
by the way, up to 3 errors.
Yeah, and thank God they're giving it like I mean, that's the thing. As much as I think the Ripken streak is the one I'm more excited about because it feels more authentic and real and possible. Whereas that one was like, he doesn't get a lot of errors, but like how many balls does he not get to that if he took an extra step, he would get to and like 85% of, right fielders would get to. Yeah. Anyway.
I think anyone
great series, great hits.
Anyone with 2 eyes can see he's not a great defensive field. Like when the balls hit to him, he largely catches it.
Yeah,
big.
Yeah,
that's big.
Good.
But
good.
Like Chris Sanchez, I know he just retired. Best since Cole. I mean,
dude,
it's a lot of the same kind of stuff. I mean, Cole by the end got up to like 94, 95, and Sanchez, by the way, like 97.
It was harder, exactly. Yeah.
And dude, the fact
that too, he's so big and like he's bigger, he's taller and longer than Cole too. And Cole's tall, but like you see Chris Sanchez. I know when I saw him down in spring training when we were down there, like he looks like he's like his arms like he's like a NBA draft prospect or something.
Well, the fact that he can go like 97 on his fastball and then 84 on his changeup is that's so impossible. And I think he's done a really good job of mixing in that slider. Like the slider is more of a show me pitch than anything, but it's a good enough show me pitch to get hitters off the other pitches. Like, did Cole ever have? I'm just kidding. I don't need to compare Chris Sanchez to Cole Hamels, but like the changeup is probably the best.
Win a World Series MVP, and then we'll start to.
What if Chris Sanchez does though, man? Like, what if Chris Sanchez?
Dude, that's the thing though, is like he's like, and look, they have 4 guys like that, and I know we'll get into some recent struggles for certain guys and all that type of stuff, but on any day they have got like guys who can go on a month run where they're the best pitcher in baseball. Like if you told me Christopher Sanchez had 4 playoff starts and had like a under 1 or a under 2 ERA, like I'd be like, yeah, sure, dude, I totally believe that. Like he has that kind of stuff. So and it seems like the demeanor too, but that's something.
Well, I thought the emotion he showed on Friday was phenomenal. Yeah. Like just really getting into it. I 100% hope he makes the All-Star team, and it feels like he's so underrated around baseball. It feels like all the Phillies pitchers, besides obviously Wheeler.
Look at the contract he just got was underrated, and I know you get security and stuff, but
early returns on the contract, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't be better. 2 straight freaking gems. Yeah, he deserves to be an All-Star. You're right. He really does.
I mean, he's got what, 2.7?
Well, numbers-wise, he's clearly an All-Star. It's just a question of if they're going to do it. We know how the sport works and stuff.
And the thing that I like the most about and Ranger, we'll get to Ranger, but like Chris Sanchez and Ranger, I think to more of an extent, but I think Rob Thompson had a better feel for Ranger. But Chris Sanchez, I don't think Rob Thompson knows really. And it's not a critique of Rob Thompson. I think it's more has to get more data on Rob Thompson, has to get more, or on Chris Sanchez, has to get more of a feel because. You and I think watching the games, I think we trust Chris Sanchez in a lot of spots. Like he has that feel of like doesn't let the moment get to him. But I think the biggest thing that's happened this year is he's letting him pitch deeper into starts. And the way I watch games and the way that I think Rob Thompson is currently watching games, at least in June, is collecting data for the postseason. Mm-hmm. And I think that how he's handled Chris Sanchez the last couple of starts, where he is letting him work through things. Now it's been pretty dominant, so it's not like he's had to work through much, but extending him so he knows, okay, here's when to get him out. Because what made last year so frustrating in watching Chris Sanchez and even getting to the postseason is that third time through, that's when Sanchez is actually at his best. Like, the longer games go on, traditionally, Chris Sanchez is better. So I hope that when we get into the postseason, barring them going and getting like a bleep you level reliever, like, they're gonna have enough data points on Chris Sanchez, on Ranger. They know Wheeler, they know Nola, to where they can extend those guys. Because one of the most frustrating parts of the last two postseasons is pulling those two specifically earlier than needed. Now, last year, Game 7, he trusted Ranger. He did not get out Corbin Carroll, which is. We don't need to.
But even then, it was trusting him in like the fourth inning or whatever, third. Like in terms of like really trusting Ranger the way he has trusted these guys this year, and granted not the playoffs, a different thing. But like in terms of like what he pulled Ranger after like 2 2/3 in Game 3, I mean, look, I also think though, just to add to your point, it's not just a data point for Rob Thompson. He's also giving Christopher Sanchez a chance to be in these types of situations and learn what he has in his tank and how to use what he has in his tank and how to purposefully maybe conserve energy and all that stuff. I mean, those are big, and granted, it's different in the playoffs. Obviously, it's a different thing with the emotion and you know, the intensity of every pitch that's needed. But still, it gives Chris Sanchez a chance to be in more and more, like, you know, it's like the 10,000 hours thing in any of these situations, these reps where he gets reps pitching through the 8th and trying to conserve for the 9th, or pitching through the 7th, trying to conserve for the 8th, or get through the 7th. And that's valuable too, in addition to the data that it gives Thompson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a heads up. It seems like it's pouring rain here. So if I lose power...
All right, well, how about this? All right, so quickly on Ranger, and
I
don't
want to. I don't need to rush. I'm just letting everyone know that if I all of a sudden the screen goes dark, it's because I probably lost power, because it's kind of dumping here. It's and I'm just letting you know. I'm letting all of our listeners know. I have reached the point in life where I get excited about rainstorms because I think my lawn needs it. Which is it's a good place to be in, man. It
is. So if you're and I'm not like, but whenever you've had a basement flood, there's always the back of the mind like, oh man, I hope that doesn't ever happen again, because that's the worst.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why Elliot's afraid of rain.
I know. He took it too far. Like he's I think it's raining here too, or it's raining so loud there I can hear it in my headphones. I can't tell. Yeah.
But I think it's pouring all over. If I had to guess, so
good thing they got the game in.
Thing they got the game in. Although I would have taken the canceled game as when they took the lead.
Yeah, well, we all would. I mean, when they were down 6-2, I would have been like, shut it down. Ranger, like, obviously his worst start of the season by far. Just didn't have it today. I mean, not just the runs and hits, he was in the hits, he was just getting hit harder and more crisply than normal, but no strikeouts is wild.
Dude, 3 whiffs, by the way. 3.
I know. He just used it. I was thinking about it as I was watching this, and I was thinking about it back with the Wheeler 8-run game. I didn't make the point on the last pod, but it is, we always talk about just baseball and how, you get the 300 average with the best players, and it's a game of failure. And like, it's just so wild on the flip side where like the best guys in the sport at pitching, the guys who are Ranger had a 2. I haven't looked. I'm probably above it now. It's 6, but at an under 2 ERA in the game. Wheeler, who had a low 2s, was the Cy Young front runner, probably heading into that Orioles game. I haven't checked all the stuff. Maybe he's back to it.
He is. No, he is.
Yeah, I figured. But again, like these guys can just be off a little bit, and that it's like, we crush you. We're gonna put up an 8 spot against you. Like it's so hard. Baseball's so hard at the highest level. It's so wild. Anyway, Ranger today, was it just anything concern you, or just like an off day? Because he hasn't been as sharp the last couple starts as he was obviously really on the 10-1, 9-1, whatever it was starts.
Yeah. So I think that the one thing it seemed like the Marlins were doing today, and I wonder if teams are going to start doing this. So Ranger is obviously fantastic at throwing first pitch strikes and getting ahead of guys. And it seemed like the Marlins just wanted to jump them as best they could, because they know that when you get when you get the 2 strikes with Ranger Suarez on the mound, and he has essentially 5 pitches he can go to get you out, like it makes the hitter's job that much harder. But if you're around the strike zone, and you're dude, I'm telling you, this light's
I can hear it. I can hear it. It's nuts. It's nuts.
But if you're around the strike zone and you are like aggressive within the strike zone like Ranger is, I think that maybe the league adjusting back to him is okay, well, we're gonna ambush you. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of starts teams just try to ambush Ranger, and it's on him to kind of adjust. Like, obviously it's a league of adjustments. It's a copycat league, James, as I'm sure that you well know.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
did you make that up, like that phrase? Because that's creative.
Thank you.
There's a ring to it. I feel like it could catch on.
I think it could, and so I think teams might try to start doing that. It's a lot like now when you can execute against Wheeler, to get into Wheeler to a second. I think that the plan for most teams against Wheeler is like just get him out of the game as fast as possible. Yeah. So when he does not have command,
or hope he hangs something unexpectedly and you can take advantage of it. That's about it,
Sure, but when
that doesn't happen often. That's my point,
But he didn't have great command for his sweeper on Thursday, which feels like an eternity ago, and one of the worst nights of our lives. Mm-hmm. But
I hated it so much.
Dude, it was so bad. It was like the worst possible game of all time.
I was like everything about it, every facet of it. It was I hated it
because it didn't feel like a loss. Like it didn't feel I can feel a loss coming.
Dude, at 3-0, Wheeler leaving and Strom coming in. It's like, all right, this is pretty good. I feel pretty good about this. Like, I'm going to get to bed early night, no big deal.
It's always about the freaking bed for you, dude. It's always about sleep.
It's a part of it. Go ahead. Anyway.
God, again, I'll send you some stuff. I'll help you out. Enough of this nonsense.
Look at you. Yes.
But like when Wheeler doesn't have command for his any of his off speed, which he didn't on Thursday, teams just really foul ball him to death because his fastball, while fantastic, like you can foul it off. It's hard to square up. It's hard to do damage on because it's so heavy. But I think the Marlins fouled off 28 pitches, dude. 28 pitches on Zach Wheeler. That's the only time we've seen Wheeler.
Nuts.
It's a lot.
It's not like the Marlins are some, elite contact lineup,
Dude. Against the Phillies, they are unbelievable. They suck, dude.
Yeah, I know.
They suck.
I mean, Josh Bell, like that. I don't even want to talk about it. Can we just not say his name again? That's it, and we can all just accept that, thank God the Marlins are what, like 31 and 50 something or whatever. We don't have to worry too much about them in the postseason. This guy, hopefully, don't trade him to anybody. But I just don't want to talk about him. I hate him. He is. Like, it's, it's one thing when, a stud comes in and beats you. That happens. You get it. It's baseball. It's like, wow, whoever, he had it, but when it's someone like that, where it's just like he is like a 180 hitter coming into a series.
Hold on, man. 235, 235.
Whatever it is. And it's like, oh, now I'm Babe freaking Ruth. Like, yeah.
He's all time, man. So obviously during our lifetime, we have Ryan Zimmerman, we have Jeff Conine, we have
Braun,
we have Brian McCann. There's been all time Phillies killers.
Yep.
Josh Bell, if we're doing so catcher's McCann, first base is.
I know, my God. Yeah.
First base is 100% Josh Bell. Third base is Conine.
Freeman, which is so funny. Can we make Bell the DH and Freeman the first baseman?
Sure, because Freeman had about 700.
Yeah. And also Freddie's. Bell at least hasn't killed us with defense as far as
you know who the shortstop is. You know who the shortstop is.
Who is the shortstop? Lay it on me.
Miguel Rojas.
Oh, totally, dude. Did you see the Dodgers record, by the way, with him and when he gets a hit, there's something like 28-0 or something, or 22-0 or something. It's insane. It's so weird. Like, there's a really weird stat. Maybe they've lost since last time I saw it, but as of a few days ago, they had some insane record when undefeated bunch of wins when.
Well, that's like the Harper stat when the Phillies had when he had an RBI. They were
that's
22-0.
More he's the best player on the team. That makes sense. Rojas, He's just a winner. Yeah, friggin' winner.
Miguel Rojas, known winner. He
Yeah,
made the playoffs like once with the
friggin'
Marlins.
winner, dude
Yeah,
wins, man.
yeah. But the Josh Bell thing is sickening. It's just
Yeah.
it.
Uh-oh. Oh no. No, I think his power went out. Oh no. All right. Well, if his power went out, we'll get back to recording something at some point. But look, the good news is that we hadn't really gotten to is that it looks like Harper and Schwarber are much less bad, the injuries, than we expected. So that's huge. But we'll get back to Jack as soon as we can, or tomorrow. Who knows? Hopefully it stops raining. Talk to you guys soon. Hopefully really soon. All right, bye.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt. All right, we're going to get Seltzer back in here. Again, it's freaking pouring. I totally forget what I was going to say, but I'm sure this is just making for some fantastic content on the show. So, whatever. Kind of is what it is. Obviously, if you're watching this, you know how brutal it is. All right, Seltzer's back. Oh, man, that was fun.
Yeah, good times. Good times, buddy. All right, so we'll see what Tucker edits in and edits out. His guys work.
Well, in my professional advice would be cut out the last 5 minutes where there's dead air and no one's talking.
But I'm saying after you left, I put in a thing saying I don't know if Jack will be back or not, this or that. We'll see what he does. But the last thing I mentioned, and then I as abbreviated a take back as possible, because I do have to still make dinner and get to bed. And, you may not know this, but I do need sleep, especially because we're going to a minor league baseball game on Wednesday night, and I can't wait coming out with this. All right, here we go. Ready?
Thursday and Friday.
Hey, I got stuff to do. We got we got to go out to the burbs one day. We got I know, I'm not complaining. My life, I'm very happy, and I love my family, and I love my job, and I'm lucky, and I'm lucky that anyone wants to come hang out with us at a minor league baseball game. That's insane. I love all of you. I'm very lucky, but I'm just saying, if we can get me to bed, it wouldn't hurt. Quickly, the thing that I said is the last thing that we didn't talk about that we really had to is just the actual prognosis for Harper and Schwarber, and Schwarber never felt like it was going to be that bad, but. Just seems to the Gelb tweet. Thank you again, Matt, you hero, for getting us that information as quickly as possible. It really couldn't have been better the way it seemed for both that night.
Well, I was worried about Schwarber from the standpoint of after the game, an athlete's always going to say they're always going to downplay injuries. The adrenaline is going, and given Spencer Turnbull,
Bryce, who's going to say it hurts. I've never felt anything like this. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Spencer Turnbull just said on. I don't know. Was it Tuesday he started? Wednesday he started?
It doesn't feel like anything too bad. And then it's
bang!
For 2 months.
6 to 8 weeks he's done so, which stinks. But I am very, 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 very much looking forward to Michael Mercado on Tuesday night. Because
I bet you are. That's as Fritzy as it gets.
Oh, can't wait. Again,
he's one of those, and to the theme we mentioned earlier with the old thing, he's one of those, now I start to see athletes and I'm like, wow, you look like a child compared to me. He's one of those. He looks so young. Michael
has
Mercado.
To be born in the 2000s.
Minus the fact that he's 8 feet tall. He looks so young. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I know that the old adage around baseball is, hey, don't trade with the Rays. Au contraire, mon frere. Doesn't seem that bad. Doesn't seem like
Jose Alvarado. Ever heard of him? Just saying.
Chris Sanchez. Ever heard of him?
So I'm so happy. That's what I was going to ask you before we got sidetracked. Are you finally ready to admit that the Phillies won the Curtis Mead Chris Sanchez trade? Have you gotten there? Because this was, don't go back and check the tapes, but you might have, not always thought that the Phillies won that trade. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they did trade away a top. Again, if they just traded anyone else, it's not that it did end up being a top 75 prospect, and he was a guy
he's
that
not
was
Chris Sanchez, buddy. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what Chris Sanchez is? He's not a prospect. He's a
stud.
Should be all-star in the major leagues. Exactly.
No, he's a stud. So yes, I am happily wrong about Curtis Mead and the Chris
aboard.
Sanchez trade.
We're very proud of you for admitting it.
But Michael Mercado also on that trade.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, they just dominate trades with the Rays, which brings me to
Sam
eventually
Fold, Sam Fold, insider agent type thing, maybe. Who knows?
I would, most
player
say it's
there.
Ani. I would say it's Ani.
Yeah,
but
Ani
it's,
too.
it's always Ani.
Yeah, both, all of them.
Who can never
but
again?
But the Alvarado trade was before Ani.
Yes,
it was Dave's first trade. Yeah.
It was.
Anyway,
but maybe it was an inside job by Ani.
That's true. Oh yeah, hey Dave. Look at me.
I'll help you out.
No, we're just joking around. It is unbelievable, though. The Rays, they do it every year, yet, you can't mess with the Phillies.
Yep. Well, again, there's a couple people who are never allowed to leave the organization. Ani is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Preston Mattingly.
Brian
Barber.
Caleb Gotham.
We got people. Yep. Brian Kaplan seems like he's I don't know enough about him. He seems like he's on his way to be on that list. Yes, John Middleton. How about that? Yes.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that
I'm
until
just saying. I'm naming people who are indispensable right now.
he sells the team to us.
Yes. Well, wow, that is. I would have what a thought. What a thought.
Principal owners,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
/ advisors.
Yeah, 0.01% of the franchise to I don't know, shut you guys up or something. I don't know. I don't know why they would ever happen, but yes, I thank you. Yes.
It will happen. But the Mercado thing and the Rays thing does have me feeling pretty positive about the idea of trading for Randy Arozarena, who
look at you.
I think
you're betting against the Rays now.
Always bet against the Rays.
Love this.
Hey,
this is
always take good players from dumb teams, and that's my philosophy.
Yeah. All you need is one dumb GM. I will say, as far as they go, obviously right-handed stick, which is good, but I mean, I don't. And look, he is really struggled. Homer today.
No,
really
he's heating up.
He's getting better.
He's had a great
June. I know. I have him on the WIP Fantasy League team. But he's also someone who is a bona fide, not at all not the biggest sample size in the world, but a bona fide playoff stud, someone who has been in those spots and performed and had massive moments and been awesome. And I never hate the idea of bringing a guy like that in when we're talking about needing big hits in October. You know what I mean?
Sure. Actually, I've got a couple names
that I want to finish. That you really that was whatever. It matters. Don't give me that. We know his heartbeat's a little slower in certain
spots. Oh man,
Thank you very much.
Those packed Rays playoff games.
This is my fault. Take back. I gotta go to bed. I gotta make dinner. I gotta get Zoe to bed. Take back. Go ahead.
So obviously Luis Robert, I watch every at bat. I still feel incredibly torn on giving up the proverbial farm for him.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
But God, the upside is just so good. He hit a ball 470 the other day. He's playing Gold Glove caliber defense. It's just in his last 9 games, he's got a 900 OPS. So,
buddy,
he's heating up. But some other names.
One of those all about the package. The risk is all about the package. It's what you can get him for, and then it's I like that risk or I don't.
But some other names to run past you before we get out of here. One, kind of intrigued by Jazz after this weekend.
Dude.
He was pretty locked in. He had some really good
against lefties.
Looked really good against lefties. The Strom thing, man,
what's going on with that? Yeah, good point. What's going on with that? I think it's just a moment, right? I mean, everyone has them. We were talking about it.
Well, and I trust Matt Strom with my life. I got to that point with him. Me too. And for him to immediately have that backfire pretty much, is incredibly disappointing.
2 big spots. I mean, they lost, he wasn't the reason they lost both the games, but he lost the lead in both games they lost in this series, so there's no other way to put it.
Dude, it felt like they just could. It felt like they could not get a big out all weekend long, whether it was the starters, whether it was the bullpen.
Until Hoff.
Sir Anthony getting out of the.
Oh, no. Not again. Oh, man. All right. I don't know if we're going to do more or not, if he had something super important in the take back, but we'll figure it out. Either way, if it is done, come to Wilmington, hang out. Cubs series come up. Then a big series couple after that with the Dodgers and the Braves heading in the All-Star break before the A's before the break. So, should be interesting with the lineup, all that. We'll get to it either soon now or maybe tomorrow or who knows after the holiday. Either way, if we don't talk to you before July 4th, have a wonderful holiday. And maybe I'll talk to you again if Jack gets back here quickly. But either way, if not, he's Fritz. I'm Seltzer. Talk to you soon.
What a disaster. What a disaster. But I did see blue sky, so hopefully, this isn't gonna. We're gonna wrap up here, and then we'll get out. But holy cow! Well, Wi-Fi. Who needs it? Turns out we need it. But it's all right. Phil's won today, so that makes everything that much easier. All right. Let's wrap this thing up. What a disaster.
The floor is yours, Tucker. Enjoy editing this. You could take out my ending that I put in again. My second.
Keep all the Seltzer endings in there.
Yeah, just edit it together. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Keep it in there. It's pretty funny. Go ahead.
Right. So interested in Jazz, and then Saya Suzuki. I'm also interested in as
sure.
The next year he signed and all that stuff. I'm nervous about the Mets, the OMG Mets.
The Grimace Mets.
There's a little bit of vibes around the Mets they haven't had in years.
The Grimace thing, I have not enjoyed watching the Grimace thing unfold. I'll say that. Like, that's fun.
It is killer. One extra base hit in his last 23 innings by Chris Sanchez, by the way. One extra base. Only one home run allowed all year, too, which is equally as crazy. Bohm looks like he's starting to pull the ball or
he
actively.
Smoked that one today. Like, it was just like a laser out. Yeah.
22-7 after a loss. 22-7.
I'm a fan of that.
Which is unbelievable. Do you think they're going to pick up the team option on Witt?
It's a really good point. So it could go either way. The question is the team option even going to be an option, or is he going to be gone at the trade deadline, like as in cut and they'll add an extra body? That's a better question. Jeez.
Like, oh
what
my.
a disaster.
It's a real shame.
Yeah,
because they need them, dude. Like they need that kind of.
It's a shame too, because we've talked about, but like Phillies. A lot of Phillies fans just watch the Phillies, and I get that. A lot of baseball fans just watch their team. Like Whit Merrifield's been like a really good player and a fun player. He's been fun to own in fantasy over the years if you play fantasy and stuff. And like Phillies fans' impression of him is definitely not going to be great.
Not good. He's approaching Josh Harrison territory, which is
no, dude. I think he's way past that. I mean, Josh Harrison, at least there weren't expectations. Like this guy signed for almost $9 million. Anyway.
Yep. And I guess final thing. One of the most random sponsorships of all time is this Build Submarines thing. Like it's like what is Build Submarines, dude? It's like first off, what normal baseball fan is building submarines?
Yeah, it's weird.
Why does it exist? Yeah. And I'm very confused by the partnership with Major League Baseball and Build Submarines out of absolutely nowhere.
It's a good take by you. I'm happy we logged back in to make sure you're able to get that on. That was the quickest take back of all time, so I appreciate it. It really is good stuff.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Walk's first game was great.
Walk's first game. 1-0, the most important stat. It's all matters. Great job.
Thank you. We'll obviously detail it more as we are in person, hopefully sometime this week.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, coming out. You can see us, see a bunch of people, apparently Spike and Ike. Ike and Spike. I don't know which way. Both.
Ike and Spike.
There we go. Yeah, I can Spike.
Fritz, Ike.
And there it is. Fritz, Ike, and Spike. That's the way we say it here. That's for damn sure. All right. Thank you for doing that quick, buddy. That was good stuff. My third ending. I know. Trust me.
2 weeks.
Time.
2 weeks.
Third ending of the day. We'll see how many are in here. Tucker, thank you. Good luck, buddy. Come back in Wilmington. Until then, otherwise, have a great holiday. Great Independence Day. We'll be back after that, Podwise. And until then, he's Fritz and Seltzer.